Rahul, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, should we start now, Rahul?
Sure, sir. Please.
Okay. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. I am Dr. Kaushik Saikia. On behalf of the organizing team, welcome you all the dignitaries, speakers, and participants to the third day afternoon session of this online international workshop on capacity building and redesigning of the learning and research aptitudes. So before starting the session, I would like to invite Ms. Pratibha Devi to give his talk. To give his talk. Thank you. Pratibha?
So am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, audible.
Namaskar, Adab, and a very warm welcome to all the esteemed speakers, dignitaries, and participants who join us from across the globe. I, Pratibha Devi of MARYAM Women's College of Science and Technology, heartily welcome you all in a 3-day international online workshop on capacity building and redesigning the learning and research aptitudes, organized by MARYAM Women's College of Science and Technology in collaboration with Azmal Law College, run by Azmal Foundation, a charitable trust with the spirit of serving humanity in need. The Trust has emphasized women's education by establishing Maryam Azmal Women's College of Science and Technology to provide a conducive and latest facilities for science and education. Our institution provides opportunities in various fields for research and overall development in the northeastern region of India to all the sections with special focus on needy and marginalized sections, thus removing all sorts of social, economical, and cultural barriers to education. Thus, our motto is Azmal for education, education for all. Our institution is able to manage a wide and versatile academic curriculum, through which we have been able to get second rank under the Dibrugarh University. The college is comprised of the state-of-art infrastructure, ICT lab, smart classes, integrated library facility for both immaterial as well as books for different disciplines, laboratories for foundational research work under the School of Physical and Life Sciences. Our institution's main aim is to impart advanced foundational skill in the fields of research and higher education. This majestic gathering is one such small initiative to enlighten us with extensive knowledge in the different fields of modern education from the distinguished scholars across the globe. I would like to thank the organizing committee for placing such gathering as knowledge hub in much needed time, and I convey my gratitude to Maryam Azmal Women's College of Science and Technology and Azmal Law College uh, for providing a platform as for such magnanimous event. I once again thank you all and wish a grand success to the workshop. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pratibha, for your speech. Now, in this afternoon session, we are very fortunate to have with us eminent physicist, present IQAC coordinator of Dibrugarh University, Professor Kalyan Bhuyan sir. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Professor Bhuyan sir. Professor Kalyan Bhuyan, sir, received his PhD in physics from the Dibrugarh University. He joined at the Department of Physics, Dibrugarh University in 2005 as assistant professor, and from then he has acquired many professional experiences like he was recognized as a PhD supervisor since 2006 by Dibrugarh University, and under his guidance, 5 students have obtained PhD degree. He was the co-convener of National Conference on Laser and Optical Science at DSH Kanoi College during 11-13 October 2010. He was a member of organizing committee Inspire Science Camp for higher secondary students at Dibrugarh University 17 to 23rd July 2011. Sir has also acted as coordinator of registration subcommittee International Seminar on River Society and Sustainable Development held at Dibrugarh University 26 to 29 May 2011. Apart from that, Professor Bhuyan sir has also the experiences of many administrative assignments like he is present IQAC coordinator of Dibrugarh University. He was the former head of the Department of Physics, Dibrugarh University. He is serving as the members of DRC in Physics, Dibrugarh University, DRC in Center for Atmospheric Studies, DRC in Center for Computer Studies, Board of Studies in Physics, Dibrugarh University, Board of Studies in Center for Atmospheric Studies, DMC in Physics, Dibrugarh University, Board of Studies in Physics, JB Autonomous College, actively participating in setting up of Science Park in Dibrugarh University and several other committees. Professor Bhuyan sir is the life member of Assam Ganit Shikshatan and Society for Laser and Optical Sensors. And his research interest is the cosmology and space and atmospheric physics. He has published more than 50 research articles in national and international journals and also around 10 books and book chapters with his name. So with this brief introduction, I would like to invite Professor Bhuyan sir to deliver his talk. So today he will be talking on the soil-space credit system curriculum, which has been implemented in all the universities across the country. Sir will elaborate all the technical aspects of this curriculum and advantages of this system, and I hope our participants will be highly benefited from it and they would be able to clear their doubts on this CBCS curriculum system. So thank you very much. So with this brief introduction, I would like to invite Professor Kalyan Bhuyan sir to deliver his talk. Over to Kalyan Bhuyan sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kaushik Soikia, if I am right, for this nice introduction.
Yes, yes, sir.
At the very beginning, I would like to thank the organizers, particularly Mr. Sohrab Ali, Principal, MARYAM AJMAL Women's College of Science and Technology, and all the esteemed faculty members of this college, and also AJMAL Law College. I suppose they are collaborators in this program. And also, I would like to welcome all the participants from various places of the country and abroad to this 3D online international workshop on capacity building and redesigning the learning and research aptitudes. I am very fortunate to have been invited to this particular workshop. Probably this is the last presentation. I suppose we have learned a lot over the 3 years that have been passed. My topic is I will basically give you a broad overview of what is happening in the context of CBCS curriculum. I will touch upon the recently adopted National Education Policy 2020, and I will look at the CBCS curriculum in that particular background. What is expected of the National Education Policy. So I am going to share my screen to all the participants. Kindly let me know if you do not see my screen.
Hello, sir.
Just a minute. I am sharing my screen.
Okay, sir.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay. So my topic is choice-based credit system in the context of National Education Policy 2020. You see, if you look at the National Education Policy 2020, there is a need to have a very radical change in the National Education Policy because if you look at the advent of the concepts like big data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, you see in that particular scenario, you have the need for a skilled workforce, which actually particularly involves mathematics, then computer science, data science, and you see there I have highlighted one term called multidisciplinary abilities across the sciences, social sciences, and humanities. What the National Education Policy 2020 anticipates is that in the emerging scenario of this rise of big data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, actually there will be a need for a different skill set where you would like to have people from having multidisciplinary knowledge from the sciences and social sciences. So that particular aspect has been recognized by the National Education Policy 2020. Now, there are other issues also. If you look at the current issues like climate change, increasing pollution, and depleting natural resources, you see there will be a sizable shift in how we meet the world's energy, water, food, and sanitation needs, again resulting in the need for a new skilled set of laborers, particularly in biology, chemistry, physics, agriculture, climate science, and social science. Only recently, probably 2 days ago, I was looking at the Times Higher Education Intake rankings. Okay, they have actually requested the university to register for their rankings, and I was actually going through the criteria of their assessment, and you see there is a vast difference between the assessment criteria of NAAC and the Times Higher Education Intake rankings. NAAC has actually emphasized upon the development and enhancement of the infrastructure required for bringing up the institutions to a international level. But what the Times Higher Education Impact rankings they assess is something like this. They assess how the university is performing under the criteria called energy, where they would like to see how the university do research in the crisis of energy, water, food, sanitation, etc., which is not included in NAAC criterion. So there has been a shift in the perspective how to assess the universities in terms of these parameters. So again, we had this recent experience of, again, we are fighting till now, the pandemic of coronavirus, COVID-19. So this emergence of epidemics and pandemics actually calls for collaborative research in infectious disease management and development of vaccines and the resultant social issues. So you see, we are facing the COVID-19 pandemic, and we have seen that there are medical issues, there are psychological issues that need to be addressed in fighting this particular COVID-19 pandemic. So again, the experts have actually identified that there is a requirement of multidisciplinary learning in this regard. Now, if you look at the changing employment landscape and also the global ecosystem, it is becoming increasingly critical that children not only learn but more instantly learn how to learn. So probably the education system we are now in, we have actually emphasized upon rote learning, not we are not encouraging our students, our children to learn, and we have failed to make education enjoyable to them. So that is another perspective which the National Education Policy 2020 actually emphasizes upon. Again, in that particular context, they have actually emphasized that education must move towards less content and more towards learning about how to think critically and solve problems. These are very important issues. How to be creative and multidisciplinary. I have highlighted multidisciplinary. You see, the term multidisciplinary has been repeated again and again in the National Education Policy. It is a 66-page document, and in almost every page you can see the term multidisciplinary. So you understand that multidisciplinarity has been given tremendous importance in National Education Policy, and that has something to do with the CBCS curriculum. Now, the NEP 2020 actually emphasizes upon innovation, adaptation, and absorption of new material in novel and changing fields. So these are some of the emphasis of National Education Policy 2020. Now, it also says that pedagogy must evolve to make education more experiential, holistic, integrated, inquiry-driven, discovery-oriented, learner-centered. Again, I have highlighted this because this has to do something with CBCS curriculum, discussion-based, flexible, and of course enjoyable, that I have already mentioned to you. That education should be enjoyable. The pedagogy should be designed in such a way that the students do not feel bored. They must enjoy learning. Then the curriculum also should include basic arts, crafts, humanities, games, sports, fitness, languages, literature, culture, and values in addition to science and mathematics to develop all aspects and capabilities of learners and make education more well-rounded, useful, and fulfilling to the learners. So how do you achieve that? How do you make a curriculum which includes all these different aspects of human endeavor? So CBCS is actually the way to do it. The National Education Policy 2020 is based on certain fundamental principles. There are 22 principles that have been noted down there in the National Education Policy. I will basically look into 3 of them because this has to do something with the CBCS concept. You see, one of the principles states that flexibility, so that learners have the ability to choose their learning trajectories and programs and thereby choose their own path in life according to their talents and interests. So CBCS as it stands, credit-based, choice-based credit system. So choice is there, and the new National Education Policy 2020 it speaks about choices. So that's why they are putting emphasis on flexibility of the courses. Then they speak about no hard separations between arts and sciences, between curricular and extracurricular activities, between vocational and academic streams, etc., in order to eliminate harmful hierarchies among and silos between different areas of learning. Then another principle which states that multidisciplinarity and a holistic education. Again, you see multidisciplinarity has been repeated here. Across the sciences, social sciences, arts, humanities, and sports for a multidisciplinary world in order to ensure the unity and integrity of all knowledge. Now, the National Education Policy 2020 has identified certain major problems which have been currently facing the higher education system in India. I'll not go into all of them that has been listed in the NAP. I'll basically look into 3 because these again have to do something with the CBCS curriculum. You see, the first one is a severely fragmented higher educational ecosystem. Whatever we are doing right now, it is severely fragmented. We are you see we are actually, this is leading to what we are doing right now is leading to a very early specialization among the students. Because after higher secondary, they will either go into physics or chemistry or political science or economics, which are very specialized kind of subjects. Right now, we do not have any option. If a student is opting for majoring in physics, he does not have the opportunity to go for performing arts or economics or political science and henceforth. So it may be said that our current educational system is severely fragmented. Now, there is less emphasis on the development of cognitive skills and learning outcomes. And also, there is a rigid separation of disciplines with early specialization, which I have already mentioned, and streaming of students into narrow areas of study. I have joined the IPSC as the director I think, in July in 2018. And after just joining, I have submitted a concept note to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University on soft skill development of the students. And for preparing that concept note, actually, I have gone through the results of various surveys conducted across the globe, and it has been seen that if you enlist the skills required by the industries of the students, you will see the knowledge in a particular subject is put at around, if you look at the skills in a decreasing order of importance, it is put at around 9 and 10. What is the most important skill is that the verbal communication. You see why they have put verbal communication as skill number 1. What they say is that you may, if there is a person which is a new recruit, you can actually train him up if you have a very effective verbal communication with him. Even if he does not know anything about a subject, you can teach him if he can do a very good verbal communication with his employers. So that is one of the aspects. You see, I have gone through the certain surveys where it has been said that only 10% of our graduates are employable. This is a very dismal situation because we are producing graduates, most of the graduates which are not employable. So those are some aspects which needed to be addressed, and I think National Education Policy 2020 is actually having that certain kind of vision to include all those things. Now, if you look at the policy's vision, it includes certain key changes to the current system. I will discuss only 2 of them because both these 2 visions actually include certain things called multidisciplinary universities and colleges. So you see, the vision of the National Education Policy is moving towards a higher educational system consisting of large multidisciplinary universities. Mind it, multidisciplinary, they are using that word, multidisciplinary universities and colleges with at least one in or near every district, and with more higher education institutes across India that offer medium of instruction or programs in local and Indian languages. They are giving importance on local and Indian languages. I will not go into details of this, but I will restrict myself to multidisciplinarity. And in the second policy vision, they have mentioned that it wants to move towards a more multidisciplinary undergraduate education. They have recognized that our current undergraduate education system is not lacking this multidisciplinarity, so they are trying to improve upon that. Now, there are certain recommendations of NEP 2020. One of them is they define a university in terms of a multidisciplinary institution of higher learning that offers undergraduate, graduate, and graduate programs with high quality teaching, research, and community engagement. So again, you see multidisciplinary word is being used here. Now, the definition of university will thus allow a spectrum of institutions that range from those that place equal emphasis on teaching and research, that is research intensive universities. They are talking about research intensive universities where there will be equal emphasis on teaching and research, and they are talking about teaching intensive universities where there will be greater emphasis on teaching, but still they will conduct significant research. So universities will be categorized into two: research intensive universities and teaching intensive universities. And if you look at colleges, they are talking about autonomous degree granting colleges, and those colleges will refer to a large multidisciplinary institution of higher learning that grants undergraduate degrees and is primarily focused on undergraduate teaching, though it would not be restricted to that, and it need not be restricted to that, and it would generally be smaller than a typical university. You see, again, multidisciplinary word is being used here. Even the colleges, autonomous colleges which will be granting degrees to students, they should be of multidisciplinary in nature. And the national education policy is actually they have ambition that by 2032 all the single discipline institutions will be phased out. So everything has to be multidisciplinary. Now, if you look at the enrollment in higher education, this is from a report of AISSE published for the year 2018-19. You see, gross enrollment ratio in India is 26.3%, which actually the government has actually said that it should be around 35% by 2025. And now there has been we are lagging in this particular aspect. Now, if you look at the programs where number of students enroll, you see BA is the most, around 93,49,207. I'll go for the percentage only. It is about 26%. Then BSc is 13%. BCom is 11%. BTech, if you look at the technical education, it is very less. Again, BA Honors, MA, BA, MSc, and MBA. You see, major chunk of the students are in the undergraduate level. These are basically the postgraduate, the undergraduate students. These are postgraduate students. So most of the students that are enrolled are in the undergraduate stream. Now, if you look at the level-wise enrollments from the 12th plan, if you make a comparison from 12th plan to till now, again, this is the report of AISSE for 2018-19. You see, as you go from 1980-81 to 2018-19, you see there is an increase in the enrollment of undergraduate students, also increase in postgraduate students. But if you look at the PhD students in the research level, it is gradually decreasing. In 1980, we were about the PhD enrolled students were about 0.9%, and now it has declined to 0.45%. It is almost half. So again, there is a decreasing trend in research level, but there is an increasing trend in graduation. Again, now you see, if you look at the employment aspect of our graduate students, you see there was a survey in 2013. There were 9 million graduates who had actually signed up in employment exchanges around the country. Remember, these are not all graduate students. It includes all. But as per record, if you look at the record, you see about 8 million were actually graduates of 4 programs: arts, that is BA, BSc, BCom, and BL. So you see, out of 9 million graduates who have actually registered in employment exchanges around the country, 8 million were graduate students. Now, you see, if you look at the job seekers which were placed in 2014, that was only 3,49,000. And if you assume that most of these were, because the students who have registered for employment exchange were 9 million, and if you assume that most of them were from graduate stream, you see the employment is very less. And if you look at the technical programs where we assume that the scope for getting a job is much higher than the general graduates, but again there is placed in 2016-17. Again, this is very less. So the UGC actually it started thinking about the introduction of choice-based credit system, and what they have identified was that majority of Indian higher education institutes have been following marks or percentage-based evaluation system, which obstructs the flexibility of the students to study the subject courses of their choice and their mobility to different institutions. So you see, they are talking about choice and mobility, for which choice-based credit system is the only way. Then they have identified that there is a need to allow the flexibility in education system so that the students, depending upon their interest, you see their interests and aims, can choose interdisciplinary, intradisciplinary, and skill-based courses. So these are three very important terms here: interdisciplinary, intradisciplinary, and skill-based courses. Now, UGC has identified that this can be only possible when choice-based credit system, which we call CBCS in short, an internationally acknowledged system is adopted. And the choice-based credit system not only offers opportunities and avenues to learn core subjects, but also exploring additional avenues of learning beyond the core subjects for holistic development of an individual. And the CBCS will undoubtedly facilitate us benchmark our courses with best international academic practices. So if you look at the advantages of CBCS, you'll see there is a shift in focus from the teacher-centric to student-centric education. So teachers are not in the center place. Students are in the center place of this particular CBCS concept. Next is the student may undertake as many credits as they can cope with without repeating all courses in a given semester if they fail in one or more courses. So it is up to the student that how many credits they go for. Of course, there is a minimum course that is mandatory for each student, but the upper limit is of course generally set by the limitations of the institution. But UGC has said that there should be no upper limit. Students should be able to take as many as credits as they can cope with. So that scope is there. Then thirdly, CBCS allows students to choose interdisciplinary. Again, the word interdisciplinary comes here. Interdisciplinary, skill-oriented papers, even from other disciplines according to their learning needs, interest, and aptitude, and more flexibility for students. Now, CBCS makes education broad-based and at par with global standards. One can take credits by combining unique combinations. For example, in our university itself, we have a course in physics where economics can be opted as a generic elective. Then microbiology can be opted with chemistry or environmental science, and so on. So in our university itself, we have given the students freedom to choose a course from economics as generic elective, even if he is majoring in physics. That was not earlier in our courses. Then CBCS offers flexibility for students to study at different times and different institutions to complete one course. So here we are talking about ease of mobility of the students. Credits earned at one institution can be transferred. So again, if you look at the new National Education Policy 2020, it speaks about a credit bank where the credits earned by the students will be stored. It will not go in vain. And if a student is transferred to another institute, that credit he can actually transfer his credits also. So that mobility is there. You can store your credits in a credit bank. So those options are given in the National Education Policy. Now, if you look at the CBCS in the context of the National Education Policy, the NEP actually suggests development of a multidisciplinary environment and institutions for meaningful implementation of liberal arts. You see, they have given put emphasis on liberal arts education in India. If you look at the policy, it points out that in most of the Indian universities, students are streamed into narrow areas such as science or engineering or art or professional and vocational subjects, and are generally mandated to take almost all, if not all, courses only within their stream. So there is no choices basically for the students. Only very limited sources are there. Choices are there. So the NEP actually recognizes this problem, and so they have actually suggested that the education system which is prevailing in our country should be reconstructed to encourage cross-disciplinary collaborative research and teaching. So this is what is there in the National Education Policy. The National Education Policy strongly recommends that the institutions which offered only a particular stream must be phased out. As I have already mentioned, that institutions having only one particular stream must be phased out. I think about 4 or 5 years ago, the Assam government has actually asked the colleges having only one stream to go for another stream. As I think the National Education Policy, actually UGC has prepared well ahead of 2020, the National Education Policy. They have envisaged that National Education Policy will include all these aspects. So even Assam government actually anticipated this, and they have asked the colleges having only one stream to go for another stream. Maybe if a college had only the arts stream, they have been asked for to propose for the commerce or science system. So that has been actually that has been happening over the last few years in Assam also. And you see, the NEP actually recommends that all the higher education institutions must aim to deliver composite and multidisciplinary courses. If you have only one discipline, arts discipline, then you cannot go for multidisciplinary approach. So the government as well as the National Education Policy has emphasized that the institutions should actually go for multidisciplinary approach. They should have at least two disciplines. And then the NEP for this purpose also recommends the redesigning of undergraduate programs for liberal arts. So the NEP speaks of redesigning of undergraduate programs. To facilitate liberal arts in the undergraduate level, the NEP suggests a 4 years Bachelor of Arts, Liberal Arts, or Bachelor of Liberal Education. So they are proposing this in the National Education Policy. Though for some years, the 3-year degree program will also continue simultaneously in institutions which do not offer 4-year degree courses. The policy envisages multiple exits in the undergraduate program. You see, multiple exits is a new thing. This is a very radical change in the perspectives. Because if you go to my next slide, you will see earlier the students can have either higher secondary pass or degree pass certificate. They did not have any interim exit scope. So in the proposed system, if a student completes 1 year, he will get a certificate. If he completes 2 years, he is entitled to diploma, and if he completes 3 years, he will get a bachelor's degree. So there is scope for interim exits for the students. If a student realizes after 1 year that he cannot actually continue with the courses, then he has the option that he can simply drop out of the course, and his learning of this 1 year will not go in vain. He will get a certificate. And similarly, after 2 years, he will get a diploma, and if he completes 3 years, then he will get a bachelor's degree. This is a very new idea of interim exit. Now, the policy also envisages student-friendly academic credit bank system, as I have already told you. It speaks about academic credit bank system to facilitate resumption of studies for those students who made exit without bachelor's degree. So, you see, if a student drops out after 1 year and he, after 2-3 years, again he wants to come back, this academic credit bank system will help him. He can actually join in the second year, and he can continue his degree. So this is again a very new idea. The National Education Policy also suggests that after 2032 there should be no should not be any affiliated colleges, as all the affiliated colleges will have to be autonomous institutions. The affiliated institutions should be facilitated by the state governments to become autonomous institutions with proper manpower and sufficient infrastructure for meaningful implementation of the liberal arts program. And the issue of liberal arts education should be actually elaborately discussed, so I'll take a few minutes in discussing this. And if you look at our Indian university, you will see that most of the Indian universities have already started choice-based credit system in the graduate and undergraduate level, but they restrict the choices often within the disciplines only. We are not actually, in true sense, we are not going for multidisciplinary approach. Now, the opening up of all the branches of study for the students through promotion of liberal arts education is a very welcome step. However, in view of the lack of investment, finance, and resources in most of the state-run educational institutions, only time will tell whether we will confine the ambitious project of restructuring the education system to only centrally funded institutions. If you compare the budgets of TESCO University, for example, with our university, I can give you an example that a few years back, the total budget of TESCO University was 300 crores, whereas the budget of Dibrugarh University was 30 crores. That is a tenfold difference between the two universities. So we have a doubt that the lack of investment, finance, and resources will actually hamper in proper implementation of this. So there should be a steady incremental increase in government expenditure in the educational sector. Otherwise, the restructuring of the program for meaningful and equitable quality education will be remaining a daunting challenge for the state-funded educational institutions. So we fear that there will be a vast gap between the state-funded institutions and centrally funded institutions if there is not any steady incremental increase in the government funds. Now, I'll take a few minutes here to discuss about liberal education. You see, if you look at the global scenario, there are different modalities that have been emerging regarding the practice of liberal education in diverse institutions. So, you can there are practical approaches to the development and implementation of liberal arts to promote intercultural communicative capabilities and service learning. Secondly, diverse and innovative strategies to develop and implement liberal arts curriculum to promote the core values of liberal arts education as critical thinking abilities, creativity, problem solving, and a well-rounded character building. Policies and strategies to integrate diversity and inclusion in liberal arts practices. Mechanisms to support evidence-based policy making and enhancement via research and evaluation. Now, if you look at these modalities, you see both multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary practices are emerging as standard practices for imparting liberal education. Multidisciplinary practices inspire the students to take a variety of courses from wider range of disciplines, and the interdisciplinary practices for teaching liberal arts education actually synthesizes different ways of understanding the self and enables students to develop critical thinking and problem solving skills, moral character, and a sense of social responsibility. This is the idea, philosophy behind interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary practices of teaching. Now, I can give you an example of International Christian University in Japan, where it has actually followed a multidisciplinary curriculum to ensure that the students are exposed to gain contemporary knowledge in different fields of studies. You see, the general education curriculum has the head of this particular university, International Christian University Japan. They had the objectives to broaden students' horizon by offering core courses from diverse disciplines to develop a sense of responsible citizenship, problem-solving skills, and critical thinking from different perspectives. Now, the academic curriculum is very flexible, you must note it, and the students may make choices under their personal interest, master the basic concepts of these fields before committing to their major. Remember that they are given a very basic set of the skills before they commit to their majors, and then make connections between their major and other fields of studies. And other institutions also allow the students to enroll on courses in languages and arts division, social science division, and in science and mathematics division, so that the students are exposed to all branches of knowledge. So there are certain other institutions which have actually introduced core courses which are developed to enable the students to get exposure to multiple emerging fields of knowledge ranging from language and world literature, problem-solving aptitude for emerging future, multiple form of discriminations and heterogeneous cultural and historical backgrounds, mathematical and reasoning skills, including writing skills. Remember that. If I may give you an example, the academic core courses of the Amsterdam University College typically include innovative practices such as the Global Identity Exercise course, which actually exposes the students to key concepts and issues of identity, race, gender discrimination, and cross-cultural communications in a globalized society, and is taught by international teams. Then there are 6 big questions courses, including big data, big books, world literature, big questions in future society, big questions in science, and big history. These are termed as 6 big questions courses. Then logic and information flow and augmentation. These are certain other courses, academic writing skills and advanced research writing, foreign languages, mathematics. You see, these have been included in academic core courses of Amsterdam University College, which is basically a liberal arts college. So we expect that these experiences will definitely help us in redesigning our courses in near future in the spirit of the National Education Policy 2020. Now, if you look at CBCS, I think you all know about the basic terms used in CBCS. Should I go through this or hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, audible.
Should I continue or how much time?
Yes,
I
sir.
have?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
Okay.
Sir, you can continue. Yes.
You see, I'll give you a very brief introduction to CBCS. I'll not go into details of the curriculum. You need to understand certain keywords used in CBCS or CBSS. This is CBCS stands for choice-based credit system. The other one is choice-based semester system. You see, we talk of academic year, 2 consecutive one odd and 1 even semesters will constitute 1 academic year. Then semester system, you all know, this is for 6 months. It is supposed to accelerate the teaching learning process and enable vertical mobility in learning. In this regard, I will also give you an example here, coming back to the CBCS system. You see, Tezpur University, for example, they have dual degree programs, which we do not have in our university. What happens if you take a dual degree program, if you offer dual degree program in your university to your students, they are in advantages than other universities where the dual degree program is not offered. Because Tezpur University has the BSc B.Ed program. Okay, a student going for BSc in physics can do B.Ed at the same time. That is dual degree program. So what happens here in our university, a student doing BSc in physics, he has to pass MSc. Doing MSc, he cannot go for B.Ed. Even in BSc, he cannot go for B.Ed. After MSc, he has to go for B.Ed for 2 years. So there is a loss of 2 years for the student, because if he wants to go for B.Ed after MSc, he has to wait for 2 years. Whereas the student from Tezpur University, he can do B.Ed simultaneously with his BSc degree, and after MSc, he is MSc B.Ed, and our students will be MSc. Then after 2 years, he will be MSc B.Ed. So that is the difference between our conventional system and the CBCS. So I'm giving you an example of our 2 universities in Assam. Then you see, choice-based semester system is not valid here. We are basically in Dibrugarh University, we are implementing choice-based credit system. It is actually a cafeteria type of approach. So there will be a bouquet of subjects, courses that a student can actually choose from a bouquet of courses. They can learn at their own pace. They can undergo additional courses, acquire more than the required credits, and adopt an interdisciplinary approach to learning. So, as I have already discussed in the advantages of CBS system. Now, there is a term called course. A course is a actually unit of instruction or segment of subject area under any DBT. So we call an academic program a program where it comprises a set of courses. So completion of set of courses by a student prescribed for a program shall lead to the award of a degree. So actually BSc is a program, BA is a program, BCom is a program, and each of the papers, we earlier called it papers, they are actually a course. Then, as you all know, credit is defined as one lecture in our university. It is one lecture of 1 hour duration per week is 1 credit. If you take a tutorial of 1 hour duration per week, it is again 1 credit. A practical of 2 hours duration is 1 credit, and so on. So it is basically the number of contact hours you are looking at. So if a course is having a 4 credit, then actually the contact hour of the teacher with the students is 4 hours for that particular week. Then a student has to earn a credit. So the total credits earned by a student during a program is the sum of the credits specified for the courses completely by the student securing pass grades. So to obtain the credits, to earn the credits, the student at least must have secured the pass grade. Each degree program has its own credit requirement. In our university, it varies from subject to subject. In physics, it is different. Okay, I'm erring here. Actually, for BSc, it is uniform throughout all the science disciplines. And for MSc, we have different credits. So, total credits to be earned, credit requirement for MSc in physics is different from credit requirements for MSc in chemistry. In the PG level, we have variations in the credit requirement, but in BSc, we have a very general kind of credit requirement, which is mandatory for all. We talk of letter grade, the index of the performance of the students in a said course. These are denoted by letter grades like O, A plus, A, B plus, B, C, P, and F. F is optional. Then I may be there, I is for incomplete. Then we, in our university, we have adopted a 10-point scale for grading. So, yeah. Then there's a term called credit points, is product of grade point and the number of credits of a course. There are two very important terms. The first of those is semester grade point average, SGPA. It is basically a measure of performance of work done in a semester. It is the ratio of total credit points secured by a student in various courses registered in a semester to the total course credit taken during that semester. So it is basically a weighted average grade point of the particular semester. Then there is called cumulative grade point average. This cumulative grade point average actually starts at the final semester. We give them the cumulative grade point average. That is basically the weighted average of all the grade points that have been earned by the student over the whole course. So that is the cumulative grade point average. So in the grade sheet in our university, we basically show the credits earned for each course registered for that semester. Then we indicate the performance in each course by letter grade. We show the semester grade point average, and finally we show the cumulative grade point average. Now, if you look at the elements of CBCS, you see it has 5 elements. First one is credit, then grading. Of course, CBCS is choice-based. We talk about choice. Then the semester is there. We have divided the whole course into semesters, academic program into semesters, not courses. And there is assessment. If you start from credit, you see in CBCS we give due weightage in terms of number of instructional hours per week. So in the syllabus itself, we actually the credits assigned to a particular course actually shows the importance of that particular course. You'll see if it is a 6 credit course, it is very important. It is very heavily loaded kind of course. If you compare with a 2 credit course, which is content-wise 2 credit course will be far lesser than the 6-credit course. Then we talk of grading in CBCS, that is consumption of actual marks secured by a student in terms of letter grades. We convert it to grades. Then you see, choice-based credit system actually offers multiple choices of programs and courses for the students. Then semester actually gives you clear-cut identification of duration of teacher-learner engagement. So whole program is actually divided into semesters, and assessment is, in case of choice-based credit system, is continuous and comprehensive in terms of classroom attendance, midterm tests, assignments, etc. In our university, we have devised various forms of internal assessments, like you can go for two in-semester examinations which are written, then you can go for quiz, then home assignments, seminars, term papers, and so on. So you can actually have a continuous and comprehensive evaluation of the learner's progress in their courses. In choice-based credit system, there will be 3 types of courses. One is core course, elective, and foundation course. These are 3 types of courses. The core courses these are mandatory courses that should be compulsory studied by students because that is a core requirement to complete the requirement of the program. Then there are elective courses. These may be generic elective. Generic elective, actually, it may be from different departments. For suppose for physics students, generic elective may be from mathematics, maybe from chemistry, maybe from economics or electronics. Those are generic electives, and there are discipline-specific electives. Like if you earlier we used to call it specializations within the program. So suppose a physics student majoring in physics will have discipline-specific electives. These courses will be from physics itself. So you are giving options in physics, like a student may go for high energy physics or cosmology or condensed matter physics. So it will depend on his choice. So these are 2 different kinds of elective courses. Then there is a 3rd type of course which is called foundation course. These are again compulsory. They are divided into compulsory foundation course, which we call ability enhancement course, and there are elective foundation course which we call skill enhancement courses. So the compulsory foundation or ability enhancement courses are the courses based upon the content that leads to knowledge enhancement. And these are like, in our university, these are subjects like English communication. You may go for Hindi, you may go for Assamese communication, then you may go for environmental sciences. So these are basically the compulsory foundation courses in our university. MIL, English, spoken English, then the environmental sciences. So these are some ability enhancement course, and skill enhancement course are actually value-based and aimed at man-making students education. In our university, there is a list of about 20 different skill enhancement courses offered by different colleges as per their convenience. So that has been kept open for the colleges, that you can go for a subject which is in convenience with your faculty availability and infrastructure availability. Okay. Sorry. So the UGC choice-based credit system actually introduces basic degree and honors degree simultaneously. There are 4 subjects, as I have already told you. There are discipline-specific elective courses. It includes project work and dissertation. There are generic elective courses, which are interdisciplinary in nature. Then ability enhancing compulsory courses and skill enhancement courses. Now, the new education policy actually has been emphasizing a more liberal kind of curriculum, which actually gives you a basic, gives you an opportunity to offer students a basic skill set without going into too much of restricted specialization. So that is the basic idea behind the new national education policy, that the courses, the students should have a holistic kind of view towards towards life, towards the world, towards education. So the new national education policy is actually trying to incorporate all in all possible way multidisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity, in its vision document. So I think I'm going to stop here. Okay, let me express my deep gratitude to National Education Policy 2020 document of the Government of India, and I have taken help of a document from Brookings India, which was published in November 2019 regarding higher education in India, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your very elaborative talk on the CBS system, and you have gone through all the aspects of this CBS system and also explain it in the context of the recently implemented new national education policy 2020. Now we would like to have few questions from the participants. And sir, are you hearing me? Hello.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, one question was asked by Jokindra Kukenja. Hello. He has asked, will the engineering degree for 3 years, and how many internship will be there and its duration? Hello. Sir, am I audible to you? Hello, sir. Am I audible to you?
Kaushik sir, I think Kalyan sir, mic has been muted. Please tell sir to unmute.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
So what I think is, you see, the National Education Policy 2020 is still in the policy space. So we have to go for implementation. And again, if you look at education as it is in the concurrent list. So it is both the responsibility of the center and also the states. So I don't know what will happen in other places. In Assam, actually, you see, the National Education Policy has given the option for both 3-year degree courses and 4-year degree courses. Basically, the 4-year degree courses will be research oriented. The last year will be research oriented. So I don't know what will be the policy of Assam government. They have actually constituted a 79-member committee to look into the various aspects of implementation. Again, from the policy perspective, if you want to be a research or intensive university, you have to go for the 4-year degree courses. So I think.
Okay, thank you, sir. So yeah. Yes, sir, I have got it. Sir, another question. It was asked by Priti Karmakar. For elective courses, credit points are included for pass criteria or not, sir? She has asked.
Okay, in our university, actually we do not, we include all the courses, even elective courses also, in calculating the grades. It varies from university to university. In our university, we have actually, even in our department, we have integrated MSc course. So we have chemistry, mathematics, all kind of elective courses. And in calculating the overall grade, we actually include all the courses. That is the policy in our university. I don't know about other universities.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, another question was also there. Please, can you give, please, from your experience, which courses are best for students in the job market today, sir? I don't know it is relevant to this topic or not.
Relevant. No problem in that. You see, as I have already told you, during the presentation, that there is a survey. Okay, I don't have the concept of right now with me, even though I am in the office. I have displayed it somewhere. But as I have already told you, you see, soft skills are very important. If you are looking for job market right now, skill-based courses, soft skill-based courses mainly. You see, as I have already told you, I have looked at various surveys and made a comprehensive list of certain skills that are sought after by most of the employers, basically industries. They have enlisted about 10 soft skills that are required for their employees. You see, they have put verbal communication at the top, okay, and I think the subject knowledge at around 8, 9. So there are different skill sets like verbal communication is at the top, then writing skills, then your leadership capability, how do you behave in a group, so your adaptation to the group. So these are some kinds of soft skills that are required for current job market. Okay, actually, I have requested our Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, to introduce such kind of courses where we can actually impart certain soft skills to our students so that their employability is enhanced. So.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, sir. So another question is from Okni Bishetri. She has asked, would you give information of examination system promotion from one semester to another semester? Any back in subjects are there? Please explain, sir.
Yes, yes. You see, progression is very smooth. Progression means if you go from semester 1 to semester 2, actually you can have a back. Okay, and in our university, you can actually clear your back in the next semester. Means if you have a back in first semester, you can clear it when you are in third semester. So you have to wait for 1 year. Earlier we used to have in our integrated MSc course, we actually after 45 days we used to held our compartmental and determinate examination. But in the new course curriculum in our university, if you have a back in first semester, you have to wait till third semester to clear the back. And there are certain regulatory measures, how many times a student can appear for backlog clearance. Those are certain regulatory aspects are there, but yes, you can have a back and you can clear it later on.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, another question is there from Mohammad Abdul Wahid. He has asked, query to Professor Kalyan Bhuyan, sir, what is the basic difference of students, those who passed under the evaluation of semester system, and student those who under CBCS system, sir? Please elaborate.
So can you repeat the question?
Sir, yes. What is the basic difference of students who have passed under the evaluation of semester system and students who have under CBCS system? I think, sir, he has asked regarding the older system. Yeah.
You see, older system was basically okay. So to answer this question, you have to go to the philosophy of CBCS system. You see, earlier, if you look at the evaluation of the students, we did not have any objectivity. You see, we are going for absolute kind of evaluation. If a student gets, suppose, I give you an example. Suppose a student gets 59 minus 60. Okay. Earlier, 60 means first division and 59 means second division. So how can you decide that a student who gets 59 should not get 60, or a student who is getting 60, he should not get 59? So the basic difference in earlier semester system and CBCS is that we are grouping students into a particular grade. Okay? So that is the basic difference, because we are giving a range of marks, say from 65 to 74. Okay, you are in a particular group, say B grade. Then from 75 to 84, you are in D plus. So you see, we are grouping students. We are not making discrimination. We are not discriminating students between a group. Because a student who is getting 59, he may well get 61 or 60 if evaluated by another examiner. So that difference is there. So we are grouping students into according to their performances. Then okay,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
earlier
We are hearing.
I think that is the basic difference conceptually. And you see, in CBCS, we are giving them more freedom to choose their own subject topics.
Yes, sir.
I know that, at least in principle. Practical implementation is a different thing, because while trying to give choices, it is limited by the resources available in a particular institution. All right. So it depends on that. You must have a teacher. Suppose you want to offer something related to soft skills, say spoken English. You need a teacher for that. Okay, and infrastructure like you need to have a language that you may not have that. So it depends on that resources, human resources as well as infrastructure. So those kind of limitations are there, but otherwise, it gives choices to the student. They can choose their own subject. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. You have answered all the questions very nicely and elaborately. And thank you very much, sir, again for your time, even after your tight schedule.
I thank you all the organizing committee members for giving me this opportunity to interact with so many people from all across the country. And I thank all the participants for their patient hearing and wonderful questions they have posed. I hope that I have been able to answer all your questions, and
Yes,
thank you very
yes,
much once
sir.
again.
Sir, we would also have to like you in future in such events, sir.
Oh, thank you. I'll be very happy to collaborate with you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
So can I leave now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sure, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks
Thank
to all
you
the
very much.
participants.
Yes, sir. So, dear students, please dear participants, please stay tuned to us as the feedback link will be given after this session. So now I would like to hand over to Miss Oditi Ghosh for the continuation of the next session as a moderator. Miss Oditi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Kalyan Bhuya, for such an informative and enriching session. And with this, I hereby set forth to the concluding session of our 3-day online international workshop on capacity building and redesigning the learning and research aptitudes, which was comprised of a total number of 11 technical sessions with the engagement of our distinguished speakers from all across the globe. We truly appreciate our guest speakers' prime presence and association with this workshop. It's truly an honor and privilege to meet this opportunity. We are also truly overwhelmed that we received around 2,000 registered participants and their support from different global corners, and we bestow our thanking gratitude to your active participation and cooperation in the smooth functioning of the sessions. And with this note, I hereby request Mr. Saurabh Ali, Principal of MARYAM Ajmal Women's College of Science and Technology, HOJAI, to share his views and experiences on this 3-day international workshop. Over to you, sir. I request Mr. Saurabh Ali to kindly...
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Am I?
Yes, sir. Yes, you are audible.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. I would like to start my speech with gratitude to the teacher community of MARYAM Science and AJMAL Law College. So nicely they have arranged this 3 days workshop, international workshop, where more than 2,000 participants have registered their names. And I would like to mention some valuable speakers like our tools for technical education, then cyber security, and almost all. It is prominent. It is very proudly I can say that this curriculum which you have prepared for this workshop, it is a combination of students of arts and science. I could see there are so many participants who are all scholars, research scholars, and from various fields of education. They all will be benefited through this workshop. Now, I would like to exchange my views that during this COVID-19, though people say that this is a curse, we too realize, but it has enabled us to come in touch with the dignitaries of workshop to know so many unknown things which has been discussed during last 3 days in this platform. In normal situation, it would have been very difficult to contact prominent personalities of various fields for us to know the tips of capacity building and redesigning the learning and research aptitudes as discussed in the workshop during the last 3 days. All topics mentioned in the program was elucidately explained by our reverend speakers and followed by question answer series gave a lucid picture to the participant. Now, along with all the participants of different fields, our students have learned a lot of unknown things through this workshop. A small briefing, that is some speakers, they have participated from abroad. We are very lucky that we could get the views of abroad, the speaker of abroad, those who would have been not possible for us to meet them in our normal life. Only due to this online communication and this our virtual meeting, we could meet all their we could get all their views, and we are all benefited by their good speeches. Now, finally, I would like to tell that our students, they have acquired, gained knowledge of various fields through this elaborate discussion with the speaker, and now we will be able to choose. They will be able to choose their careers of interest after leaving this college, because we are enrolling and recruiting 3 years degree course students. But as soon as they are leaving this college, mostly I could see the students, they are not able to decide where to go, which course to choose. But with this workshop, I could very well see the types of discussion took place. They can very well choose the careers hereafter. So it is a very boon for all the students. And finally, I would like to tell my staff, that is those who have given their hard work to make it successful, they will also have further this kind of workshops near future. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks to all.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views. Now I request Mr. Akas Ali, Principal of AJMAL Law College, HOJAI, to share few words.
Thank you, Aditi ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Very good evening to all of you. Respected Colonel Samir Kanzilal, retired Academic Director, AJMAL Group of Colleges. Respected Mr. Sohab Ali sir, Principal, MARYAM AJMAL Women's College of Science and Technology, HOJAI. Esteemed members of the organizing committee, learned resource person, esteemed faculty members, and their participants. It is a privilege and honor for me for being part of this 3-day international workshop. This workshop is highly informative and motivated. In this workshop, various important topics has been covered, deliberated, and discussed. And these topics are immense importance in our academic and daily life. And I think this kind of workshop is an extreme necessity for the students, the teaching community, and the research scholars to update their knowledge in their respective field, either it is a research, information technology, or academic activities. And I'm sure through this workshop, the participants had gathered information and knowledge which is going to help them in their future endeavor. I wholeheartedly express my deep gratitude to the organizing committee for putting their energy and efforts to make this workshop successful one. And their arrangement is really remarkable. So on behalf of entire team of AJMAL Law College and on my personal behalf, I express my gratitude to all the research persons across the globe who has joined the workshop or spare their valuable time. To the member of the organizing committee, the management of AJMAL Foundation, teachers of these two colleges, and the participants for their help and support to make this event a successful one. So with this few lines, thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Ayakam. Over to you, Aditi ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Now, I take the privilege to proffer the platform to our Honorable Academic Director, Colonel Samir Kantilal, retired, to kindly share his thanking note of address. Thank you, sir.
A very happy evening to everyone who is online. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
It has been a wonderful evening and a session starting on 5th and culminating after 3 days, that is today. On behalf of AJMAL Foundation, myself, Colonel Kanjilal, being the academic director, it is a privilege for me to formally offer the vote of thanks. If one has listened to the deliberations and the presentations of the good speakers, wonderful speakers, and the two speakers who have just spoken, all of them have already thanked each and every one. So I am just adding on to the formal vote of thanks. It's really a unique thing and a difficult thing to organize and coordinate such an international level workshop where the personalities and scholars are at a very high level. The resource persons who have participated, who have given their deliberations, are from across the globe, be it Canada, France, Germany, South Korea. Well, from India, they have represented good institutions right from Hyderabad, that is the south, to north Chandigarh, and from Assam, place like Tezpur, Dibrugarh, Barpeta. That means length and breadth of the country. All the presentations, though I did not have the opportunity to listen to the presentations of the wonderful speakers, but off and on I used to come on the line. I was amazed by their knowledge and worldwide experience. They shared whatever they knew, and it tinkled our mind of that there is an immense potentiality if one has the attitude to learn. Education is unending. As mentioned by Saurabh Ali, this pandemic had thrown a lot of challenges, and we are very fortunate that such a forum, wonderful and an easy platform to access such knowledge from such eminent personalities. Definitely, those who have participated, those who have gone through this, will be helpful in their academic pursuit, their career, and in their day-to-day life. We all know the society and the nation. If we continue pursuing our education, definitely I can be assured that the nation will be very strong. Two aspects have to be kept in mind: education and health. If these are balanced, things will move in the right way. People have addressed the national education policy which is coming into place. It will definitely transform the education system in our country, and I'm confident in the years to come, India will be a hub and a knowledge power. In the field of education, as we all know, research plays a vital and important role, and this has been addressed in this 3 days workshop. If everything has to go, finance, how to manage, because without finance, we can hardly move. And that also has been touched upon very well, of how students can get their financial backing so that they can pursue their further goal. Without taking much time, I would again, from the core of my heart, on behalf of AJMAL Foundation, I would like to thank our director, Dr. Kasrul, our manager, Dr. Azad, all the faculties, the students, and all the participants who have actively participated. Last but not the least, it is the organizers who needs a pat on their back for this wonderful session of 3 days. I'm confident that this international workshop has been educating and fully and wonderfully successful. Well done, all the organizers. Well done. Keep it up. Thank you. Have a nice day. It has been a wonderful 3 days session. Jai Hind, Jai Assam, and Jai AJMAL Foundation. Good day. Moderator, kindly take on.
Thank you, sir. My heartfelt thanks and gratitude to our honorable dignitaries and chief associates of AJMAL Foundation for such a grandeur note of address in marking the valedictory session. Also, I thank our respected participants for their kind patience and participation in marking the success of this workshop. We would surely love to have your association in future and hope to meet you all once again with the same enthusiastic spirit in such other workshops or conferences. And I thank to the entire organizing committee for this enduring and jestful spirited engagement towards the success of this workshop. Thanking you once again. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.